Hi, I'm Eric Thalacker. This is part 4 of our M&M Web API series, and we are going to look at entity framework and databases in this series. Previously, we had just created a really simple .NET Core Web API with just a single controller, and I'm going to show you how to hook that up now. So here is our controller that we made. As a reminder, we're hitting a route. And then right now we're just currently returning a single variable, which would be y, and it will be 1. So if we were to go and play this, we would just see 1 show up on the screen with a 200 as our status code. So let's move over to our SQL. So what we're doing here is we're going to create a new database to store our data. So I'm going to right click on this is SQL Server Management Studio, by the way. So I'm going to right click on this and click new database, and we're just going to name it M&M. Click OK, and then we're going to use M&M. Go. So now we're using that as our database. There's not currently any tables in here. However, I have some pre-made code to get our table up and going. This part is just testing to make sure the table doesn't exist already, and it shouldn't because it's brand new database. And then we're going to create the table with 3 columns: ID, machine ID, and date created. And then this is just adding some constraints on there and giving this an automatic date if we don't have one. But basically, this is the important part right here, is creating the table. This part right here. So we're going to do that, F5. So now we should have that created. We'll select star from machine ping was the name of our table. And we see we now have a table, but it's not doing anything. So let's start getting some data in there. So back to Visual Studio. What we're going to do is we have to install some stuff for Entity Framework. So we're going to, for Entity Framework to work, so we're going to click on Tools. Then we're going to go down to NuGet Package Manager. We're going to go Manage NuGet Packages for Solution. And so in here you see the ones I have installed, not very much. We're going to click on Browse. And then we're going to start Entity Framework Core. I'll type it out this first time. As you see, I've already searched these before. So I'm going to press Enter. And so we have some options. We're always going to get the Microsoft one. So click on Microsoft. We're going to select our project, the M&M project, and I'm going to click Install. And so it's going to go through and do this. We're going to click OK, I accept. Great. Now, you'll notice a list just pop up here. You can ignore all the other pop-ups. What we really are worried about is if there is a yellow tag on this dependency, and there shouldn't be. If there is something wrong happen, we need to redo it, but there's not for us. So this is the one that we just installed. Now I'm going to go through and install these ones also. So I'm going to do that real quick. All you got to do is just up here. So for the SQL Server one, I'm going to do .SQL Server, and then again I'll go through, click the Microsoft one, and it has to say core, and then I'll click install. So I'll do that for all of them. I'll let you do it for other ones. Here's the list again. You can pause it if you need it. And so this is these are our dependencies that we've installed. So now you see we're on the install tab. We have our core, design, SQL Server, and tools. So that's what we wanted there. So now what we're going to do is now we're going to scaffold our table. And the way we're going to do that is we're going to click on Tools again. We're going to go to NuGet Package Manager. But this time we're going to go to the Package Manager console. So click on that. Mine popped up in the other window for some reason. So let's get it down here. And then so in here I already have some pre-built code. Here it is, and I'll explain it as we go. So like I said, so it's bigger. So what's going to happen here is we're going to scaffold our DB context. We have, this is then our web config connection string. So this would be our connection string in our database. So mine is my computer. My catalog is going to be M&M, because remember that's what we just made. We're gonna have integrated security up to true. Then we're gonna do, this is just telling which type to use, SQL Server or SQLite or whatever. We're gonna use SQL Server. We're gonna make our output directory to models. So it's gonna create a folder called models. Our context directory is gonna be services, and our context itself is going to be, we're gonna name it M&M context. And to explain that, let me open up my my Solution Explorer. So right now we only have the controllers one, but we're going to create a models and a services folder when we run this. So I'm going to click enter here. And this is then going to go through and run and get what our tables look like. At least I think it is. Try it. There we go. And looks like it errored out. Great. Okay, so what had happened, looks like, for some reason our table didn't create the correct primary key. So I could either rerun this. I think I might have accidentally just ran this portion. But so I dropped the table and then I reran this and everything worked just fine for creating the primary key. So we're going to go back to our Visual Studio now, and we're going to repeat this command. So I just press the up arrow to re-get that command. I'm going to press enter, and hopefully, and now it worked. So we got the PM. So what we see here now is this is our context, so M&M context, which is made in the services. And this is basically created a model, so a picture of our tables in any framework. So now we're going to go back to our M&M count controller, and we're going to change some things around. What we're going to do is first we're going to want to create a new machine. So we're going to do var new machine ping. Sorry. Make that one word, and then we're going to make that equal to a new machine ping class. That's what we also need to do is up here we need to use our models page, so M&M.models, because that holds this machine ping. So you see that went to green now rather than the ugly red squiggly line. So now we're in here, so we're going to make our machine ID. Let's make it equal to 1, we'll say for now. And we're going to set date created to, we'll make a variable named save UTC now. And then up here, what we'll do is we'll make a date time variable, save UTC now, equal to date time dot UTC now. And we're storing that in UTC just because, you know, it's best practice to do that. That way we can get that date back if we really need to. Or we can get it back for any time zone. Don't have to worry about switching time zones and everything. So now what we're going to do is we're going to use our context that we just made, the M&M context. And we're going to do it like this. So we're going to say using var context equal to new M&M context, and then within that what we're going to do is we're going to take our context, and this is a lot like link if you've ever used link before, but we can use our context and we can add things actually. So we're going to add a new machine ping. So this would be like adding a new instance of this to our database is basically what this is saying. And then we got to do context.save changes. It's important that this is in the try catch blocks, because if this fails, then it will fail nicely and we'll get back a status code knowing what's going on. And then finally what we're going to do is instead of returning y, that number that we did before, we're actually going to return an object. So we're going to go a new machine ping. And we're actually probably return object up there. So basically what this is going to do is when we hit this, and this should technically be a post because that's just the way that the HTTP verbs get used, but we're going to use a get for now because it's a little easier. So get, and then we're going to set a variable to the date of now. We're going to create a new model, and then we're going to add that model to our database. We're going to save the changes, and we're going to return the OK with that return back. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to show you the SQL again. And so we're going to go select star from machine underscore ping. And we're going to play that. You see we had nothing in there right now, right? So I'm pressing F5 to get that. Could press execute. And then we're going to go back to our Visual Studio, and we're going to click play. And then here is we're going to hit our API values, and then I'm going to switch values to M and M. I'm going to press enter, and then we're going to get our thing back. So now we just press it once, do it again, we'll refresh it a couple times. Why not? You can see the ID increasing there. Just to show you I'm not pulling your leg, we'll go over here and press F5, and you can see all those new ones created with the new dates. So that's how you use Entity Framework with .NET Core. And in our next part, at part 5, we're going to look at ngrok, which lets us tunnel into local applications, so like our local host, from another computer. So thanks for watching.